Hi, my name is Kai and welcome back to my channel where I create bookish, lifestyle and travel videos weekly. Today we are going to be taking a look at my 2018 TBR, which is up on my blog. I believe I called it 12 books I want to read in 2018. So I thought we'd revisit this, seeing as I posted my 2019 TBR, and see how well I actually did in 2018. There's 12 books on here, so let's jump right in. The first book on this list is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I asked for this as a Christmas present last year, and well, the year before last, and I really wanted to read this just to kind of get my creative juices flowing, and it did do that. I reckon I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars or 5 out of 5. I can't remember the star ratings exactly, so I will pop them right here underneath the book and that will give you my rating. I did really enjoy this book and I did read it, so first one down is great. This is a book I'm going to keep on hand and reread again and again because I just feel like it's that kick you need sometimes. The second one is The Adversary. Now, I could not stop thinking about this book when the guy in the shop sold it to me. All I wanted to do was run right back in and pick it up. However, I think that hype did make it fall a bit flat, and it's always hard reading true crime stories. I think I gave it a 3.75. It was terrifying and it did make you like question everything you knew. However, it didn't keep me up at night, and I think that's kind of what sold it. I really wanted to be scared. But I did enjoy the psychology and everything of it, so yeah, and that was the second book. I'm doing so good so far. Next one, Throat of Jade by Naomi Novik. This is the second book in the Temeraire series. It's all about dragons and dragon riders. Very, very enjoyable. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, I think, and a lot of it is slow paced. This is definitely a bit more slower paced than the first book, but it was still really good and I enjoyed it, and I'm dying to pick up the third one soon. I'm so bad with this series and I don't know why. Normally I fly through them. Oh dear. If you watched my unhaul, you will know how I feel about this one. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I read 2 or 3 John Green books last year after reading The Fault in Our Stars, and I just didn't get on with this one. It wasn't my favourite, and I think maybe either YA contemporary isn't for me, or maybe just John Green isn't. I didn't really enjoy this book. I couldn't connect. I understand that it is an important book, but for me it just fell flat. The next one is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I loved this series. It was sitting on my bookshelf for about 6 months before I decided to pick it up, and I've just I fell in love. I haven't read Map of Days yet, but I flew through this series in a week, I think. So good. The next one, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. If you know me, you know I love historical fiction, and even more so, I think World War II historical fiction is not only important, but it's an area of history that I really, really do enjoy reading about, and this was no change. It's told by death, and I enjoyed it, I devoured it, it hit me in the feels. It is a very important book to read. It's about a young girl named Liesel, and we follow her through her journey and what's happened to her being a German child. So this is set in Germany. It's a very different perspective. I think it's easy to forget about all the other people who were affected, not just your own country. So it's really good. I highly, highly recommend it. The Windsinger by William Nicholson. Now this one, it just brought me back to my childhood. This was the whole point. I wanted to read this. My year 5 teacher read this to us, and I remember getting those little butterflies you get and the little heart palpitations when you enjoy a story and you're so immersed, and thankfully it happened again. This story is just so immersive, the writing is so great. I even went and picked up the last 2 books in the trilogy, which I've never read, so hopefully I'll get to those soon this year. Loved. The Pillars of the Earth by Kim Follett. Now I picked this up when we were on holiday and kind of read the first 50 pages and then put it down because life got hectic. It's one of those I bought in the airport for the journey back, and I just kind of set it aside for a while, and I'm so glad I revisited. It's very much a slice of life type of story. It's all about the building of this massive, beautiful cathedral and the struggles and hardships this town and our characters face. It is such a beautiful story. It's so beautifully written, and for me it definitely was worth the worth the hype, and it's a chunky book, so it was worth the time. I enjoyed it so much, and I can't wait to read the other 2 books in the kind of trilogy that's all about this town, and also I can't wait to read about his World War I story. It's called Fall of Giants. I'm so excited. Okay, so here's my first unread book. I feel like I need the bell of shame. Shame! Shame! Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I bought the beautiful, is it Penguin cloth bound edition? And I just, like, I had every intention of reading it last year, every intention, and I just didn't get around to it, and I'm so, like, I feel so guilty, mainly because I actually bought a copy for my brother for his birthday so we could do a buddy read, which we still will do, but I don't know. I am going to read it this year, hopefully. It's not on my TBR for this year, but that doesn't mean I won't try to get around to it. I am trying to read 100 books this year, so however, I do feel shamed. I have read Wuthering Heights before, just ages and ages ago, so I wanted to dive back into classics, and obviously I didn't do such a good job. When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit by Judith Kerr. This is another World War II fiction story, duh. It's about a young girl who is basically forced from the life she knew as her family is on the run. They are Germans, so they're on the run from Nazi Germany. It is really, really good, really fascinating, and really a good place to start for younger children if you're wanting to introduce them to this topic. It's written in the perspective of a younger child, which I think is just like a good place to start for little kids. Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Oh my god. This book had me shook. We, meaning my husband and I, started this audiobook on like car journeys. We had it for a holiday, and then we managed to get almost done with Obsidio. We're so close, we do need to finish it. But it was one of those that it has a full cast in the audiobook, so it was really gripping, and sound effects, and it just was so immersive. And there were times when we were sitting there listening and something would happen and our mouths would open, we would, and it was just so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend. And the last one is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. What have I been doing with my life? I have never, ever, ever, ever read Agatha Christie up until last year, and I don't know why. It actually annoys me a bit that I waited 24 long years before I read her books. They're so good, and they're not long, but there's so much detail, they're so engrossing? Don't think that's right, but engaging, and I just want to devour them. And I love that even though it is a detective mystery, it doesn't feel too stuffy. And it's a little bit different than reading a thriller, so I like it. It almost gives me Sherlock Holmes vibes. Just icing on the cake for 2018. Right, so out of those 12 books, I only missed one. I think that's quite impressive. My goal for last year was to read 24 books, just to ease myself out of my reading slump that I had been in for the past year and a half. So, which shout out grand, I read no books in January. However, I managed to read 79 books last year. How? I don't know, and I know that's a bit of an awkward number. It's bugging me. I wish it was 80, but hey ho, I was very, very proud of that. I also set a new goal for this year, and I challenged myself to 100 books. Fingers crossed. If I don't make it, that's fine. I'm just really wanting to keep challenge myself with reading and to not get complacent, because I do love it, and it's one of those joys that I don't ever want to lose that feeling of again. Anywho, Thank you for sticking around this long. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell if you want to be notified anytime I post a new video. And I will see you again soon with a travel, bookish or lifestyle video. Bye guys!